Stasis in darkness, then the substanceless blue, pour of door and distances. God's linus, how when we grow, pivot of heels and knees, the furrow. Splits and passes sister to the brown arc of the neck I cannot catch. Nigger eye berries cast dark hooks, black sweet blood mouthfuls, shadows something else. Halls me through ear, thighs here, flakes from my heels. White Godiva I unpeel, dead hands, dead stringencies. And now I foam to wheat, a glitter of seas. The child's cry melts in the wall, and I am the arrow. The dew that flies, suicidal at one with the drive, into the red. I, the cauldron of morning. It is a highly autobiographical, psychological, and confessional poem. Ariel is Plath's most furious poem. It is the title poem of Sylvia Plath's posthumous volume with the same name and is one of the highly regarded poems. It is subjective and autobiographical poem. However, the autobiographical elements are of sensitive nature. She even does not let her mind and thought take part in the narration of her own story. Her feelings only convey to us the development of her aggressive mood. The poem begins with its title Ariel, which contains multidimensional aspects in it. The title has threefold meanings. Probably the title of the poem most immediately calls to mind an airy creature which is found in Shakespeare and Pope. The airy spirit in Shakespeare's The Tempest is a servant of Prospero and symbolizes his control of the upper element of the universe, fire and air. That airy spirit can move unseen in air very rapidly. Sylvia Plath has used it symbolically for her riding on the horse. She has used it to show her speedy and rushy ride on the horse. There is another possible reference in the title of the poem which no one has yet noted. Ariel is perhaps a symbolic name for Jerusalem. Ariel in Hebrew means line of God, and Plath also begins the second stanza of the poem with the line God's linus, which seems to be direct reference to the Hebrew. Sylvia was very much interested in Jerusalem. Her obsession with Judaism and the Jewish people is clearly indicated in many of her poems. At a biographical level, Ariel was the name of Sylvia's favorite horse on which she weekly went on riding. In this regard, her husband Ted Hughes says, Ariel was the name of the horse on which she went on riding weekly long before, while she was a student of Cambridge, England. Moreover, the apparent image of the poem also relates to horse ride through utter darkness. The poetess has used such images which sport a journey at some horseback through a deep and dark forest, her passing through some pluged fields with deep furrows, the utter darkness of the place as the eye of the Negro, with a conclusion of falling of a horse against some brick wall are some of the examples of her ride. That was perhaps why the poem was provisionally titled Horse, before Plath hit upon Ariel. Ted's disloyalty made her life meaningless. She was losing her identity. The reference to Godiva riding, named on the bare horse back, which is galloping, makes up an image of helpless vulnerability. Galloping horse also symbolizes circumstances beyond her control as well as suicidal urge. At a personal level, we can read and understand this poem as the journey of a woman from the beginning of her pregnancy till the delivery of her child. Ariel, stasis in darkness, we may say that with the reference of this line, Sylvia is going to describe the early stage of her pregnancy, her feelings and expressions just after copulation time. It is a journey of a fetus through its growth in the darkness of the womb. How when we grow, pivot of heels and knees. The poetess feels amazed in these lines at the growth of her child in her womb at the same time when she is also growing with the same food. Something else holds me through ear, thighs here, flakes from my heels. In these lines, the poetess has very strongly portrayed the image of a woman giving birth to her child by using the words halls, thighs, here, and flakes. These words are helping the poetess to convey her idea properly. Words like hooks, shadows, flakes, white express her fear. And now I, foam of wheat, a glitter of seas. The child's cry melts in the wall. The image of a poem giving birth to her child is progressing by these lines, conveying to us the final stage of a woman during delivery, and in the last line of this stanza we find a kind of relief just after the delivery of her child. As the child's cry melts in the wall, the poetess feels very light like the foam of wheat and glitter of seas after the birth of her child. Suicidal at one with the drive. In this line, the poetess calls the whole journey of a laboring woman as a suicidal act because of the intense pain and miseries of a woman during her pregnancy. It is a pure expression of Sylvia's aggressive reaction against the natural duty of being a woman. So it is clear that in this poem the progress of the growth is in fact the process of journey. Poetess has used such images in the whole poem which thoroughly indicate the feelings of a pregnant woman. On another level, this poem is a protest against male authority. In the poem, the speaker moves with some potent force, that is, a horse, which indicates her sexual partner. The word arrow in the poem also symbolizes man's relationship with a woman. The word arrow is associated with masculine power. In Sylvia's novel The Bell Jar, she refers a man as an arrow and a woman needs to be the place the arrow shoots off from. In simple words, a woman is always a target of a man. He can exploit a woman whenever he wants to. From this point, we can come to know that the word brown R, which is used in the poem, is a reference to word women and arrow is male power. From the study of the poem, we can come to know that Sylvia was not in favor of feminism. She was angry about the double standards of society and claimed for women as well as herself equal sexual rights as men had. Ariel can be studied on another level, the journey to the center of life and death. The life of a person in this world is nothing but darkness and misery. He has to endure the troubles of life till his death. It is hard, troublesome, and as adventurous as a ride on a horseback is. Sylvia's own life was very miserable. She suffered a lot through her life, and this poem can be taken as Sylvia's tough life and her journey from life to death. Plath's feminine feelings are very obvious in this poem. The whole process of pregnancy and delivery indicates her feminine feelings. She has portrayed a wonderful picture of the feelings and emotions of a would-be mother by using frequent images. Moreover, the feelings of hatred against males gives the poem a feminine touch. The reference to Lady Godiva, which she has used to show her aggressive nature against the opposite sex, is a proof of her feminine feelings which are dominating the whole poem. The poetess has used many complex images in order to convey her idea. The whole poem relates to the image of a horse ride. Apparently, all the images which are being used in this regard support the idea, but at the autobiographical level, the whole images seem to be confined to the birth of a child. In this regard, all the images support the idea of pregnancy. It is perhaps the use of images which give the whole poem a complex touch. As Ariel is the highly discussed poem, the stanza form is also very meaningful and symbolic. The very fact that stanzas, especially first three stanzas, are trifold parallels, These are the trifold allusions to horse Ariel in Shakespeare and as a reference to the Jerusalem. Therefore, this stanzaic structure as well as the structure of the individual stanza collaborates the theme of the poem. Moreover, after three stanzas, the intermingling of the lines stands for the intermingling of the themes. The last line is very important. It is to sum up the whole matter. I, the cauldron of morning. This line is very important and have three meanings. First, the cauldron invested in morning is tightening the rhyme of the whole poem into the space of a single line. Secondly, the word I and morning do overtone I and morning. Significantly, Ariel of Hebrew is having mourning on the sufferings of Jews. Don't forget that Sylvia Plath had special attachment with Jews. Thirdly, cauldron mixes all the elements into a kind of melting pot of emotions, feelings, and personal involvement. Sylvia has used the pot symbolically for herself in order to describe that she is a mixture of all these elements. The poem is an intermingling of different levels, but these mentioned levels of Ariel are not all. Maybe there are many other aspects as Ariel has multidimensional aspects. These above discussed aspects are the maximum levels. From these levels, the poem can be taken as a complicated and rich piece of art. In the last, we must keep in mind that this poem is about English people and English society, and we cannot apply all these aspects in our society. It seems that Sylvia Plath is not happy with her husband and pregnancy, as in English society. Males exploit females as tissue papers and spoil them a lot. But in Islam, it is prohibited, and the rights given to women and especially to a mother are of highest level. In Islam, a woman is completely independent personality. She can make any contract or bequest in her own name. She is entitled to inherit in her position as mother, as wife, as sister, and as daughter. She has perfect liberty to choose her husband. And the difficulties encountered by the pregnant woman, including pain and sickness and health, psychological and physical problems in many cases, will all bring great reward that will be recorded for the pregnant woman. Inshallah, Allah will reward the Muslim for everything that befalls him in the world. Even if a thorn pricks him, Allah will expiate thereby some of his sins, and pains of labor and pregnancy are far greater than that. Even if we assume that this woman dies in childbirth, she will die as a martyr. This is indicative of the virtue of her condition. The Prophet ﷺ said, meaning, the woman who dies in pregnancy or childbirth is a martyr, narrated by Abu Dawood.